Well, the Iron Hands video blew up. Who knew Space Marines would sell? Anyways, welcome back, meatbags, and today I ended up with 2 content suggestions, which, thank you. I'm always open to hearing what you all want, but one hinges on the other, so I think it's pretty pertinent to cover Ferrus Manus first. Thank you to my patrons. Your names are here as usual. And yeah, let's get this show on the road. So, who is Ferrus Manus? Ferrus Manus is the 10th son of the Emperor and the one who would find himself on the world of Medusa. This planet was a hellhole, and I mean that in the literal sense of as the planet itself was considered a waste world. Medusa was plagued with earthquakes and skies choked with smog so bad that light would rarely reach its surface, yet somehow the population of humans managed to survive. And I even recall there being fauna of some sort. Now, unlike most of his brothers, Ferrus never really went out of his way to conquer Medusa. Rather, he would protect its people from the shadows and never once stepping into the light asking for praise. He just let it come to him for his actions. And because of these legends, that's where he got his name. Long before the Emperor showed up, Ferrus got into a fight with a Necron construct of sort, a great silver worm as it's described. My guess would probably be a Tomb Sentinel, but that's just a theory. Either way, during this fight, Ferrus would end up drowning this thing in lava atop a volcano, and as the construct melted, its living metal fused with his skin, enhancing his physical strength and giving Ferrus Manus his, well, iron hands. From there, the rest is history. He was given control of the 10th Legion, the Stormwalkers, and they soon rebranded to the Iron Hands in his honor. And to get it out of my system, I love this dumb bit. So you have Ferrus Manus, which translates to Iron Hands, who has Iron Hands, who leads his legion, the Iron Hands, from his flagship, the Fist of Iron. And what is a fist? A hand. Meaning that his ship was also named the Iron Hand. Altogether, you get the ridiculous phrase, Iron Hands of the Iron Hands, who has Iron Hands, who commands his legion of Iron Hands from the Iron Hand. I know GW can be a really shitty company at times, and that their writing isn't always the best, but whoever came up with that naming convention, my heart goes out to you. Now with that out of the way, we need to cover the iron elephant in the room. His death. Ferrus Manus was good friends with his brother and Primarch of the 3rd Legion, Fulgrim, and at the outbreak of the heresy on his stand 5, he was told to go and support Fulgrim, but once his brother's treachery was revealed, Ferrus saw red and in a blind fury decided it was best to just go and slay Fulgrim himself. Fulgrim, however, was empowered by a Slaaneshi demon sword called the Layer Blade, and it gave Fulgrim the strength to cut off the head of Ferrus Manus. Ferrus was the first Primarch to die in the heresy, and it left a very noticeable gash in the souls of the Iron Hands. They saw Ferrus's death as proof that humanity was weak, and ended up doubling down on their whole techie thing. And I also recall that at some point the Iron Hands tried replacing Ferrus's head with a robotic one during the heresy, and that didn't really go over well with Vulcan, though my recollection of this is fuzzy at best. And in my Iron Hands video, I ended up mentioning something called the Path of Ferrus. So then, what is that? It's this idea I had that Ferrus wanted his legion to be more human, that they shouldn't rely on their machines so often, and to the extent that they have, why Ferrus had scared the other members of his chapter in the 40k setting, to balance their illogical and emotional side. And this, strangely, is why Ferrus has remained rather important to the Iron Hands, even if they wish not to acknowledge it. What started as, well, as my friend Shadow would say, I want to be like Dad, suddenly shifted to become I don't want to be anything like Dad. Heading back to Istvan real quick, Ferrus, before his really bad haircut, said to himself that after Istvan, he'd get the living metal on his hands removed because he saw the impact that it was having on his legion. The Iron Hands saw the strength of metal, not the strength of character, and I think that's the best way to fit Ferrus under this umbrella of the Primarchs are X part of the Emperor theory. He had the physical strength, sure, but that was just because of his Iron Hands. I couldn't resist. But I think Ferrus was made to represent or be the manifestation of the Emperor's strength of character and deeds, as Ferrus, when he was just a myth on Medusa, he didn't care for fame or glory. He didn't want to rule or be known for anything more than his actions. As the old adage goes, the flesh is weak, but deeds endure. And now comes the rules section. So, normally I'd cover 40k, but as I just said, Ferrus is dead. However, he does still have rules in the Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness, which is getting a new edition here soon, so this may go out of date in a month or two. Anyways, Ferrus is a beast. He's a unique character, meaning you can only take one of them, which is normal. But he also has heavy, which is odd, because I don't think other Primarchs have the heavy rule, save for Purdy, but He's got move 8, which is just as fast as a Contemptor, and because it's an 8-inch move, that means that he gets a +1 to his charges. He also has a weapon skill of 7, which is amazing, unless it's against another Primarch, where they all have pretty high weapon skill. He has ballistic skill 6, and that's still great, not as good as 7, but still pretty good. Strength and toughness 7, which confuses me, but whatever, I guess. 6 wounds, initiative 7, which just means he can fight before anything unless it has a higher initiative value. 6 attacks, and leadership 10 because he's a Primarch. His special rules are also pretty nutty. I'm not going to list them all out here, rather you can just kind of look at the screen. However, the ones I will point out is that he has Battlesmith 2 and Firing Protocols 3, meaning he's super good at repairing things and shooting. It's nuts. And last, his Warlord trait, and this man, I love him so much. He gives the Army of the Iron Hands a 6-up Feel No Pain, and it will not die 5-up. Meaning that the Iron Hands make you worse at shooting at them by decreasing your ballistic skill by 1, and become incredibly hard to kill with a Feel No Pain and regenerating wounds. And yeah, there's a reason why he's 35 points away from being 500. I honestly really quite enjoyed Ferrus Manus as a character, even though there's very little on him, but that's just me. So that was pretty fun. I like talking about the big Iron Hand man, but what do you all think? I don't really want to transfer to Space Marine content, but I had such a positive response from what was just me vomiting up something to get myself out of a creative block. Life's hard, you know? Anyways, thank you for all the support. Please show Alice some support, and thank you to all my patrons. Until next time, meatbags.